We're going live this time. Here we go.
Go.
Good evening, Bobcat Nation, and welcome to another edition of the Bobcat Blitz Sports Update. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick. Tonight, we're coming to you live from Woodland Middle School. That's correct. We are not on the campus of Northport High School because we are continuing our series, our end-of-the-year series, where we go out to the youth programs that help feed into Northport High School and make it so successful, that wonderful transition between the 8th grade into the 9th grade. Couldn't do it without our coaches. Folks, I got a special guest tonight, a special host, I should say, because I don't know as much about this sport as my other sports, so I brought in an expert, very knowledgeable young man. He's one of our first great wrestling stars at Northport High School. His name's on the 100-plus win category. Mr. Michael Rawlings. Mr. Michael, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Sean?
Well, Michael, thank you for pitch hitting here for your dad. Or what's a substitute wrestler? Like, we don't have a pitch hit metaphor for wrestling, do we?
No.
Well, let's pretend you're a pitch hitter for wrestling. We got to bring him in here. Michael, I know you're from Northport. I know you know the geography well. And I found out a few months back by interviewing the varsity program that Woodland Middle has their own team. I thought that was such a neat thing. I wanted to come out and highlight them. I even got the coach to let us come on here. Coach, come on in here, sir. I got Coach Nappy. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. You stay right there. Michael, you've actually taught this young man on maybe off camera, your son.
Yes.
Which one was that one? I get the two boys.
I think Owen was the last one.
You interviewed Owen way back when his son went to States.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting all these. We got such success here. I can't keep an eye on what's going on here. Coach, this is Michael Rawlings. He's on, like I said, he's on the wall there. You might not have noticed he's one of the early names on there. So he knows a lot more about wrestling. So I'm going to throw the technical questions to him.
Sure. I'm
going to throw in a little bit of a why we're here today. Why did we come out to Woodland Middle School? How come this is such a special thing for this town?
I think it's big. So, there's youth sports, there's youth wrestling. That can be intimidating. Those are like the year-round kids. Woodland opened up the middle school program. It's great because you get kids coming right out of school. They jump in with their friends. They get introduced to the sport. Some of them, it's just a fun thing that they do for a few months and they never do it again. Some take a liking to it. They get into the youth program. They get into the high school program. It's a great feeder program for us.
Let's get a few in here early because then we'll get more of the technical when they're done. So, Coach Michael, we got some little 8th graders here. Come on in, guys. We have Coach introduce them, and you can talk to them all about youth wrestling.
So we'll start with our girls.
And we're going to let them use my microphone.
Good, Ella.
Don't press the buttons. Just hold it like that, and there you go. Coach, you bring them on in here, and we'll
all three?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, you guys introduce yourselves.
I'm Ella Nappy, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Ava Nappy, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm Cassidy McFarland, and I'm in 8th grade.
So all three go to Woodland Middle, Coach.
Yes.
All right. So, ladies, we'll go left to right, right to left, whatever you all feel comfortable with. What got you into wrestling at such a young age?
My friends got me into wrestling.
Michael, can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, my brothers have been wrestling since they were like 5 years old, so we just got into it.
Did you get tired of being beat up and thrown around?
Yes.
Enough of this?
Yes, we had to join in.
I agree with that, but when they were wrestling, we kind of just got bored at sitting at practice, so we just decided to join.
That's the right answer.
That's a great answer. You got tired of sitting there. Michael, what do you think about those answers? That's a pretty great.
Those are
three young ladies here.
Those are right on par with how it usually goes.
Absolutely.
So, ladies, how long have you been wrestling overall? For 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Younger than that?
Yeah, probably 7 years.
Oh my God!
So yes, my girls have done it a while. Cassidy, first year. Yeah. And how are we liking it?
I like it a lot.
Natural ability. So never wrestled before, and is really showing great improvement through the season, and hopefully sticks with it and gets in our girls program at the high school.
Excellent. So we'll start with the newest, because the older ones are okay with everything. What do you like most about the wrestling program, and what do you not like about wrestling? That's the negative there. That's, and I don't mean the mean way. I mean it's but what do you like most about? Let's do that first.
I like how it pushes you to your limits and it makes you stronger physically and mentally.
You hear that, Michael?
Oh yeah.
These kids are so nice.
I love it.
What's the hardest part about wrestling for you so far as a new wrestler?
I feel like it's hard. The warm-ups are really hard, especially if you haven't been really active your whole life.
Oh, that's a good honest answer. I like that.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? That's good.
Yeah, the training regimen will really, like, even if you don't wrestle in high school, I mean, if you run cross country or track or play any other sport, I mean, just learning how to push yourself to a limit that you might not be able to achieve otherwise is a great foundation.
100%. I was hoping she'd say wrestling. Wrestling's the hardest part of wrestling. Yeah, but they're doing very good.
Coach, how big is the men and women's side at the 8th grade here?
Eighth grade,
Roughly, approximately.
it's a pretty good split. We're looking at about 20 plus, maybe 22 continuous each day. We do twice a week, so we're seeing those numbers, which is great.
A lot of
We started 3 years ago, and maybe only had
it was just us 6th grade. It was just us girls.
it was just 2 girls in 6th grade, and now we've grown to
We have 8 or 9.
I think maybe more. Yeah, so it's a good split, very good split.
And you ladies are zoned to go to Northport High School?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to commit. I understand you start early. It's not like college. You got to commit. How have you seen the high school level wrestlers yet?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll bring them in just a second here. So you're hoping to keep that tradition going from 8th grade straight to Northport High School wrestling?
Mhm.
You got Coach Staffy here helping out. All right. What would you say to your friends watching who aren't on the team yet to think about doing it next year? Let's say they're 7th graders next year, going into 8th grade. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
I think everybody should join. Just try it out. I mean, it teaches you a lot of discipline. It makes you a better person, and it's just like it's a great group of people, and it's a great activity to join in on. And I think everybody should experience it at least once.
There you go.
Oh.
Does it help you with your studies and like you get the time management
Yeah.
better?
I feel like I'm good at time management because of wrestling. Because we've been going like at night for like since we were little to practice, and now it just like I don't know. You kind of have to focus on school before anything, if that makes sense.
What
Keeps you out of trouble, right?
Yes.
What did we talk about today? Grades first, right?
Grades first.
Yeah, we got a lot of kids in National Honor Society. We're proud of that. So we try to find that balance, academics and the athleticism.
Michael, you got some technical questions. I know you want to ask these young ladies. I wouldn't know what to ask them on that one.
Well, I mean, just to reiterate, like, wrestling at some point does end, and I mean, those grades will carry you on to a lot more success, and especially if you take that hard grinding mindset that it takes to wrestle. I mean, you can achieve things that you might not think you can right now just by putting your nose to the grindstone and keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Well, I'll ask a question then. Since what kind of wrestling style do they do in middle school? I'm learning things, Michael, over the year. I'm learning
Yeah.
So
free, Greco,
interestingly enough,
WWE style.
so-
I'm learning all these things.
middle school, folk style, youth, typically folk style. They get into the Greco and freestyle as you get into right now. So if you're in the youth program, they start to get into freestyle and Greco. This is a season. Ironically, high school girls is folk style, but in college, it's all freestyle. So a little not so advantageous to be doing that for 4 years and then switching to freestyle, but a lot of kids adjust pretty well to it.
That makes sense to you, Michael? I don't, that means.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that adapt well with it. I mean, the different scoring system and everything, but a lot of those key skills just translate over.
Ladies, when did you start the actual Woodland Middle team? Like, what part of the time of the year does that kick in for y'all?
Probably like a month ago,
It was
I
like-
think.
It starts
March.
after spring break.
Yeah, it was March, April. So as soon as states ends and we get relieved of the high school, we basically come over here and start the middle school.
Is it too late to come out and join?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So
okay.
we've got 2
2
more practices and we're
practices.
done. Graduation's next Friday. So we've got this Friday and Wednesday. And it's tough. This isn't really a sport you can come in midstream because we start from square one,
Basics, yeah.
learning penetration steps, getting into the takedowns. So we're starting to get into a little more of the chain wrestling. So somebody to enter now would be even way in over their head. But,
So when would a 6th or 7th grader come out for their first practice next year? Let's try that.
it'd be March, April. And we advertise it in the school. I come in on the news. We tell them it's coming. We get the permission slips and then we go right at it.
That's great.
Yep.
Now, I don't think there's other teams in the area that wrestle. Are you the only ones that you know of?
I think there's middle school programs around. I think
So Charlotte County has a
Yeah.
middle school throughout the county. So every school has a middle school program. They wrestle every weekend in a duel, which is awesome. Sarasota has that ability, and for some reason we don't do it. So Mr. G was kind enough, and he's got a wrestling background. He wanted it here. He brought us in. We pitched it to them, and he said absolutely. So we've been here strong for 3 years. Unfortunately, these guys and gals haven't got to wrestle in a duel. Some of them have gone to youth to wrestle in that competition and tournament style. But the goal would be to get these other schools in Sarasota County, specifically Heron Creek, because if Heron Creek gets their school, we can just duel in city, right, and be done.
What do your teachers think about this? When they see you like, oh man, this is the wrestler. What do you think? What do your teachers think about all this?
I don't know. They kind of, I don't know. In elementary school, I feel like they kind of saw it more, but now in middle school, they have more students, so they don't really recognize it as much. But I feel like in high school, it'll be like more popular, you know?
There's a lot more high school teachers who are, we know the wrestling culture at the high school level.
Yeah.
Yeah, middle school, you guys are a pioneering group.
Yeah.
These teachers don't know what to do with you. Do you guys cut weight and all that? You get to eat pizzas whenever you want? How's
Yeah.
that work for you guys?
We don't cut weight. We don't cut weight at all, because it's just bad for you. I don't. You shouldn't.
And you're growing, so
Yeah.
your metabolic rate is just a furnace right now.
Yeah.
You can eat 3 pizzas, not even know it's there. So
So we talked about different programs. So youth, my girls have wrestled in youth. Ella was one-time state champ, two-time runner-up.
Yeah.
Ava didn't like competition as much younger, and she's getting into it a lot more now, and she's got great technique, so that's going to get her going the right direction. And like I said, we got promising potential here.
yeah.
Cassidy, and then others, and hopefully they all come to the the high school program and really develop that girls team, which is exploding nationwide, and Northport specifically, we've really gone on numbers
I'm going
up.
to jump here in a minute. Young ladies, do you have anything you want to say to your friends and family watching about trying to get this program going and get stronger and all that?
Wrestling just builds you to be a better person, so I would just try it. I think it's fun too.
I think even like just try it out 1 year, and if you don't like it, you don't have to keep going. But it teaches you a lot more morals than just like, oh, I have to be the best at this. Like, you don't have to be good at wrestling to help it affect you. It makes you such a better person, and like I said, it helps a lot with discipline. And just try it out. I feel like I feel like a lot of people should join in, because like I didn't like sports before I did wrestling, but then when I started doing it, like I really got into it, and I think like everybody should try it.
That's awesome. We'll get one more time your name and grade, and we'll let you go here.
My name is Cassidy McFarland, and I'm in 8th grade.
Excellent.
My name is Ava Nappy, and I'm in 8th grade.
My name is Ella Nappy, and I'm in 8th grade.
All right. Well, thank you, young ladies. Appreciate
Thank you
that.
so
So we
much.
get coach back in here. Good job. Michael, were we ever that young?
At one point in time, I think I was about that age.
Oh my gosh. Michael, when did you start wrestling? Just a comparison here to see how we did Northport versus
So I
now.
started in 6th grade when the first year of the high school, when 6th grade through 10th grade was there, and they brought a kind of like I remember Andy Metters and David Mason doing somersaults in the gym to try to get us all, like they hit each other with a chair and got everybody to think that it was this one thing. I was playing football, and a couple weeks into wrestling practice, I was like, okay, well, I think I'll try it out. And my dad got me a book, and 6th grade on, I joined the high school team that winter, and the rest is a long time.
Sure. So coach, you're hearing that story. So it sounds like in this area, 6th grade was up until these last couple of years. That's probably like the starting point for most of these kids in the wrestling. So you're trying to go even younger if you can.
And I think it's if we can get our hands. I mean, some athletes come in as a freshman or a sophomore, and they really just develop quick, and they're great wrestlers. If you can get a year, 2, even 3 in middle school, that's fantastic. The youth program is amazing. You see, Owen's been wrestling since he was 4 years old. The potential issue there is the parents sometimes they're too focused on winning, and you can burn them out. And I've seen very successful youth wrestlers enter high school, and they don't make it past their freshman year because they don't know how to lose. So it's a weird balance. So you get the kids that have wrestled their whole lives and go through high school and dominate. You get the kids that wrestle their whole lives and don't want to do it anymore in high school. And then you get kids that come in, whether it's middle school and high school and excel as well. So it's really a wide variety of what you're seeing.
So I know Charlotte County itself, Charlotte High School has a great wrestling program. You're saying that Charlotte County schools, all the middle schools, have a wrestling program.
They do. And it's
There's got to be a correlation between
it is.
the pipeline going
It
into
is.
there.
It's a feeder program, and if you can get, they've got how many elementary schools or middle schools? 3, 4.
Yeah.
Because they got Englewood,
Right.
LA Grange or whatever, and like 3 others in Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte. 1 or 2 from each school get into the program, and you're keeping that foundation.
So tell me, we talk about off camera the dynamic here. So structurally, you have this team and you have youth wrestling. What's the difference there, and how would you join one or the other?
So youth, I would like to put it in other terms, is almost like the club sport, like the year-round, the travel sport, right? So those are the guys that are just diehards. They're getting in it, and don't get me wrong, we've got beginners in there, but for the most part, those are the kids that really take a liking to it and all in and go in every weekend to tournaments. That's the youth program. This is the middle school program, which is just trying to get kids in here, introduced to the sport, like it, love it, hate it, whatever. They're at least introduced to it.
And it might be a more affordable way to get into sport.
Yeah,
Is that can I say that on air?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and you're not doing it every weekend somewhere else.
And even our youth program is very inexpensive in comparison to others. We have a sign-up fee, and that covers like the singlets and the registration and all that. And that's all season. And a lot of times we go over season. So they get in almost year-round for the price of one season. But, yeah, there's no cost here. If kids don't want to get shoes, they wear socks or like the Sky Zone socks. And, again, it's just to get them in it. We're getting the basics. We're getting them some sort of foundation so when they do get to high school, they're ready to hit the ground running.
Now, you helped out with the varsity program. What got you into coming even more time to come do the team? I keep saying JV, to do the 8th grade team.
Well, obviously my kids. So Owen was here in 8th grade and my girls were 6th. So that's when we started. Owen is now in high school. Austin's in high school, graduating this year. And then my girls, this is their last year. But just for the love of the sport and the, promise of our team at the high school, we got to keep this going. So I will likely be here next year without any kids in the program to make sure that feeder program stays and we keep going.
Now, you had some other help here earlier. I know you had to leave. I see Isabel's here as well. We'll get her in just a minute. Yeah. We got a state finalist over there. Got to get her in here one last time.
I love it.
So you reached out to high school graduates, what have you, anybody in town?
We've got
the program.
Our kids are awesome, and I think it started from my time. I know you guys, you've been in it a lot longer, but Dominic Joyce gave back to the youth program immensely. I mean, he was at every youth practice. So he was going high school practice, he's getting his private clinics, and then he was coming in at night with the youth.
Nice.
So, that started the train, and then my kids joined in. Austin, Owen's here usually. Owen's working now. Austin's sick. But then the other high school has come in. So Derek's graduated. He's back, giving back to the program. He's a youth coach. He's assistant at the high school. He's doing this. Isabella coming back here, which is fantastic for the girls.
Of course.
I love having a girl here and being a role model for the other girls. So that's fantastic.
A state finalist, we should say.
State placer.
That's right.
So awesome to have that. And then now, we've had the boys and we've had girls with some success, and we're getting more and more success with the girls. So to have her here, and she's local right now, going to school, we hope she keeps giving back.
Michael, I know you got some good questions lined up for a coach here. I love what I'm hearing from this program already. I just think it's fantastic. You could compare to what you had or didn't have 15 so odd years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was 17 years ago when I graduated. Not to age
counting?
myself. Yeah. It's just good to see as an alumni of the kids club. I was there at one of the first practices, and then did the same thing Dominic did all through high school. You just kind of go to every practice and try to keep the young kids interested, keep them motivated, keep pushing them forward. And it's just great to see as a kind of an alumni of the high school kids club and middle school circuit that, there's dedicated parents that just want to keep pushing forward this like program to keep us gaining new heights. I mean, it just takes kind of that family attitude when you look at it. So
Michael, let's talk about it for a minute. So your dad, obviously from Ohio area, you would have come from the heart of wrestling itself in that area, the Big Ten country and all that. Somebody down here like myself, we didn't really know much about wrestling growing up in Florida. It was American football and everything. So family-wise, if people are watching this episode and they're a little nervous about the wrestling theme and because we might see 80s movies and, totally not like that culture at all.
No.
But you mentioned how you have some kids burning out early because of parents, but overall, maybe it's changed since Michael's in school. What have you seen as a dad and a wrestler? 'Cause I know you still wrestle.
I've seen it all.
You know, have you seen a better trend in this area?
It varies. Program to program is different. You know, coach to coach is different. Some coaches have different mentalities. You see Coach Williams, myself, we echo the same philosophy. You know, we put the kids first. Grades come first, all that stuff, being a good person. We'll take the accolades and the championships, all that stuff, but without the good personality and just being good people, it means nothing to us. So I think that's big.
Yeah.
But again, we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it at youth. We've seen it in high school. There's just, it's a broad spectrum of what you're dealing with.
You know, Michael, I've been bragging to because I do home health, and I've been bragging to my patients for a long time now how Northport High School wrestling program, maybe second only, and I mean this in a proud way, to the track and field results. You guys are going to states just about every year, I think. I'm not sure who's gone to states more. It's like a contest. Who's been to states more, wrestling or track and field? So a lot of people in this town don't know.
They have a couple more entries, but I would say percentage-wise, wrestling has the storied history a little bit longer. But that's
probably, yeah. So, and you know, Michael, I don't know how many people in town even know. I don't think we're doing a good enough job advertising to the community because we have a lot of people retired from wrestling country, you know, up north. So I'm sure they'd love to come out and see if they knew about it better. We as in our show, we want to help promote that. I know, Michael, your dad was a big supporter of wrestling when you were in school. And so what could we do to help you with that? I just thought about that. What can we do to get that word out better?
Just with my opinion, I mean, I wrestled with the coach at Campbell University on national teams, and he's in South Carolina now and doing a really good job. It might be North Carolina. I think it's South Carolina. Sorry. And Scotty Sintez, I mean, just elevated Florida wrestling. There was a lot of guys from my time frame that really just started bringing the ranks up. And I think with the girls programs in Florida really amping things up, and a lot of these kids are going to school and succeeding. And I mean, the Midwest might be wrestling country, but Florida is really gaining on it with dedicated coaches, dedicated wrestlers, and everybody just, putting in the time and effort to achieve those standards. So
I'd like to ask Michael a question. He's been around longer.
Of course.
We heard a lot of just people talking, Florida wrestling's not there, but I don't know what you saw back in the day. And recently, we're competing very high at a national level now. If you start looking at the results, you're seeing those Florida kids up there and placing in national tournaments. So what did you see back when we were kind of starting out here?
I mean, it had been around a little bit before me, but some of the kids that I wrestled at the state tournament would go to national tournaments and place second, third. I know that the guy I referenced early, Scotty, went to Super 32 my senior year and did really well. There was a lot of kids in college. I actually went to school with a kid from Brandon. A lot of those kids really elevated things and went to Big Ten schools and did really well. It's just grown, and it's almost like every high school was a feeder program. But the hardest part is when Florida doesn't have an actual wrestling team collegiately. It's hard to judge it against the tippy top of the programs that are everywhere else. I mean, the reason that Iowa is because every kid who wrestles in Iowa wants to go to Iowa. So
every kid that lives in Iowa is a wrestler, right? That's like coming
or
of age.
Ohio. I mean, or Pennsylvania or New Jersey, any of these states that have long storied programs. I mean, they have a way to elevate themselves to a higher level, to that collegiate level. Because I mean, after college, I mean, statistically speaking, going to the Olympics very difficult. But going to school, I mean, we could be opening it up at a higher education, secondary school education level that would give kids the ability to go to school, get a bigger education, and stay home and represent their state and their cities. And that's where building that building block of a program in an area really starts to amp up. I mean, you can have kids come home from USF and show kids how to wrestle at high school, where they're competing against kids from northern schools. So
You're 100% right. And it's sad. You know, I've seen state champs that are getting bright futures and going to great schools in Florida, you know, FSU, UF, and they have clubs, but you know, like Michael's saying, you know, if they had an actual program, you would see it continue.
And now with that NIL situation, when I was in college, the big thing was Title IX. You had to have X amount of women's openings, which girls wrestling would be perfect, to have X amount of boys openings. So that's why the schools say, oh, we can't have wrestling because we don't, blah, blah, blah. Now we're on the, do you have the money and all that. But before we get, while I talk about college, let's get Isabel in here for a few minutes. Come on in here. We got our own college kid here. Well, soon to be. She's not out quite yet. Mike, I'm going to bring in one of our state finalists here. Come on in, Isabel. You got it. I'll let Coach introduce her one last time. Come on in, guys. A little closer. There we go.
Isabella Cordova, 8th in the state. She started wrestling what year?
Junior year.
Junior year. So 2 years in, she became an absolute hammer. So a fantastic job. We're very proud of her. Very happy that she's back here, giving back to the program and the girls and being a role model for them.
Isabella, I think we saw you before you went to the States.
Yeah.
You did. So, Michael, you might not know, she's got, I think she does 20 sports for us this year. I can't remember. She lost track. I'm going to rattle them off. Volleyball. I know volleyball for sure because I announced your name. And then I start getting hazy here. You did
soccer. And then beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball and wrestling. Because why not? Let's just do one every 2 months. How did you balance all those sports and wrestling? Because wrestling is a totally different skill set than all those other sports.
Yeah. Wrestling was only during like my soccer season. So luckily I was just having to balance just soccer and wrestling. But it was hard, but like
how did you do the calories for soccer and wrestling at the same time? I mean, that's unbelievable. I can't imagine how hungry you must have been all day. You must have been starving.
No, it was sometimes I would go to soccer workouts or sometimes I would go to wrestling. And then if I was able to, I would do soccer and then wrestling like if I went to youth. So I just try to balance it like that.
So you're going to come help the girls out next year and this year as well.
Yeah.
What a nice honor that is. That's got to feel really cool. I do miss coaching, I won't lie to you. I don't do it for various reasons, but I do miss parts of the coaching world, especially when I was younger. It was a great thing to do as a younger person. So how are you liking the coaching transition now? Your athletic careers are over.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like being around everyone. I'm kind of sad to leave, so that's why I just wanted to come back. Yeah. You know, and the girls, I love them, and I don't know. I just want to help out.
And you might not know this because just having our parents, what that means to these young ladies. To have someone that's not coached only, there's someone that, it's a young lady, it's a lady, that means something to these kids. It really does to know that you came back to help them out. You could be doing something else. You could be watching TV and goofing off, but no, you're here in a hot, sweaty gym. And so the Woodland Middle School program here, what can you do to get the Heron Creek? I know you got a lot of friends still at the high school age. How can we get the Heron Creek schools to listen to you?
I'm not sure. Yeah, probably that.
Somebody reach out to the principal.
I don't know anyone at Heron Creek, and actually no.
Oh, you know that?
No.
So as you're saying goodbye to high school, what did you think about the Newport High School program? You only had 2 years with us. Mm-hmm. All right. I know you can't go back and talk, I wish I had 4 years, but what did you like? What did you like most about that program with Coach Williams?
Probably the coaching staff most, and then just being able to rely on them and like them fully committing to us, like I was there new, and then I walked out with like brand new coaches that are gonna like stay in my life for a long time.
Michael, it sounds like you guys really are part of a really nice, I'd say, brotherhood, fraternity, sorority, whatever you want to call family. Call a family. What a great wrestling family you seem to have. So Michael, you come down here, they go up there, and you guys start talking about wrestling, and all of a sudden you're best friends for life. It sounds like.
I still get phone calls every couple of weeks from kids that I haven't seen in 10 years or guys. I mean, at this point, it's hard to call them kids, but I mean, they were younger than me. And when you coach them just like she is right now in the youth program, I mean, you build a bond that's hard to break. I mean, you kind of support each other through the good times, bad times. You go to each other's weddings in the future. I mean, you're friends. When you're out there struggling and going through adversity together and pushing your limits, I mean, you build a bond that's hard to break. So it is a brotherhood, sisterhood, family, and I always every time the state results come in for Northport, I'm just like, yeah, you get excited for the people that even you might not have wrestled, but somewhere along the line, I taught somebody that taught somebody that taught somebody that's now wrestling. So, you start looking at the legacy that you leave in the program, and, hopefully you inspired one person to do something that maybe they couldn't have done otherwise. So, and if we can all just help one person, I mean, we're all in a better spot. So congratulations on helping out your family.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Guys, it's done a good job. I can't wait to see you all throughout wherever you're at in this area. I'll still be in this area for helping out. So yeah, that was Isabel Cordova. I get it right this time. All right, I got it right. Congratulations. I'll see you around next year in the program. So Michael, we're actually gonna do something really funky here. We're gonna do a little sound effect here because Coach Nappy is not only the wrestling coach assistant and for the 8th grade, but he also ready. What's your other job, Coach? What's your new job for us? We're introducing another new coach this year.
This may be the grand reveal, but I will be the men's swim coach for the high school this year.
Now that puts you on our third one this year. We've had Coach Devin Gales with football, Coach Stevenson with basketball. So we've had 3 on our show this year, new coaches. So gee, Mike, I don't know. How do you go from wrestling to swimming, or did you not have to go from both of them? Or
Swimming is actually my background.
There you go.
Yeah. So I swam in high school. I swam so these kids did wrestling as youth. I swam as a youth all through. Same thing. My sister was a swimmer. My cousins were swimmers. My brother was a swimmer. So, they put me in the pool at 4 years old and I just started swimming. So that is my background and it's going to be fun to do that again. So
we had Coach Maglicane and Coach Vaca these last couple of years. Who's going to have the women's side?
Coach Vaca.
Okay, she'll be staying on, so you'll be doing the boys only. Now, I was talking off camera to Coach here, Michael. Last year we didn't think about this, but a lot of our fall sports, they're already going right now with tryouts and conditioning, and we missed that last year because we started. Some of these programs are already going by the time we had our first episode last year. So I'm glad we're out here today. So swim team, when do they start showing up for conditioning and tryouts and all that?
They're going to be doing some stuff end of this month, I believe, over the summer, and then we get going. I don't actually even know the time frame right now, but we'll get that.
So it's not too late to get the paperwork in and join.
Nope. And physicals are next week.
No, physicals are going to be on the 14th of May, which is a Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow in the cafeteria, May 14th, from 5 to 7. Please, guys, get in there. We're going to have a whole nice little triage system. We'll have vital signs. We'll have the notaries there. We'll have the doctors there. You can talk to a lot of the coaches as well. They'll answer a lot of your questions. So, yeah, big deal. It's well attended, so make sure you get there and get in line in time. Don't come around 8 o'clock. Those doors will be shut down and ready to go. So they'll have the paperwork in. End of the month, they'll get going. Anybody that you talked to beside your son that's on the swim team that's going to come back next year?
Yeah, I've talked to some of his buddies, trying to get the word out. I think it's great conditioning for the wrestlers. We're still focusing on wrestling.
Of course.
So great cardio.
All right. He's a coach more important than I am. They've seen this too many times. I should be like over here hiding. That's okay. But happens everybody.
It's pretty wild to see the transition. I mean, Owen did it, and he left swim at about 180 pounds, solid muscle.
Wow.
And then wrestled 157. So it's a pretty pretty big difference in what you're doing. But
man, I got to come to you guys for some suggestions. 3 years ago, I swam the harbor during July 4th. Oh, it was a nightmare. I practiced at Centennial Park's pool. I don't also say that on our show, but I used because they had the 50 meters. Yep. And I thought I was gonna be all right. Long story short, it was brutal. Like that was a mile and a half ish. Yeah. I could barely make it. So I can't imagine you kids do that like a mile and a half in like 20 minutes for warm-ups. Yeah, you guys do a lot. So you're gonna be using, I believe, the aquatic center. That's your home pool. Yep. And you also have your high school meets there as well. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. What's that feel like to have your own program right there across the street? How nice is that?
Yeah. So when I was in school, we had very small towns, and we had to go to the neighboring town to use the YMCA pool. So pretty cool to be there at Northport Aquatic Center and have our pool.
I think it's fantastic. A couple of years back, we had a young man who went to Nova Southeastern, Michael, off a scholarship, and I don't know what happened this last year because we didn't get a really good wrap up with the program or not. So do you see some good talent coming in your way? It's a very hard place to swim this area. You got so many people pulling to Venice. Yeah. Sarasota and Riverview, those are all the famous programs.
Yeah, I think one of the tough things for us is same thing as, you know, wrestling. You can get a kid that comes in there and is a rock star.
Yeah,
but
Michael got attention. That's right.
But when you've got kids starting at 5 years old and wrestling in these, you know, the Sharks in Sarasota.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that Sarasota team and the Venice team; they're all.
You get UF swimmers coming out of those programs.
Yep,
Olympic
right.
swimmers sometimes.
So-
yeah, they had one from Riverview.
Yep.
Young lady. Yeah.
So we see, you know, maybe 1 or 2 year-round swimmers, and then the rest are kids just coming in and doing it just for the high school. So I see that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You never know. But
You got the what was your distance? You allowed to say it online?
yeah, I was a 100 butterfly and
Oh, wow.
50 free. I was a sprinter.
So you're a fast one.
I would do the 200 IM a lot, so I did all the strokes. I joke breaststroke's my worst stroke, but
Well,
fly was my thing.
Michael, I made fun of myself over the years. When I run, I look like a pig with hemorrhoids. When I swim, I look like a log. That's not going anywhere, and there's no breeze to push me. That's what I look like, man. It's ugly. It's brutal.
I'll give you some tips.
No, I think it's over. No, kid. So swimming's pretty exciting. We're gonna, like I said, they're gonna be right up and running in August, September. I forgot how long they go to, October-ish.
Yep.
How many events can these people try out for, these kids? Roughly, give or take.
So actually, swimming, I think you do 2 individual, 2 relays
Okay.
is the max. I gotta look.
And there are
been a
about a
while.
dozen events or distances. I can't remember.
Yeah, so I'd have to look back, but off the top of my head, that sounds about right.
So that's about a good 20, 30 spots you would have.
Yeah, and you got multiple kids in the events. Like you can put 3 to 4 swimmers in there, so
Okay.
you can really.
So you could theoretically field a big team. That's not like a kid's going to go out there and not make the team
Right.
because of size restrictions.
Right.
I
I
know
honestly,
it's-
my first year, I got to talk to Coach Vaca. I'm going to try
Oh,
to
okay, I
get
don't know if
Aglicade
Okay.
just to make sure I understand
Yeah.
the dynamics. Everything.
Only one
but-
of you get to
yeah.
go. No.
But we
okay.
had it, you know, when I was swimming high school, everybody made it, but it got to a point we only had 4 lanes and we had to start cutting. So we did do tryouts and things like
Gotcha.
that. But I think the pool's big enough and we'll
Exactly.
figure that out.
Well, I got to ask, how does your family feel about you double, triple loading these programs, man?
Everybody says
Do you
the
even have a
same
day
thing.
job now, or is
Yeah.
this not your day job? You're
I'm
a Norfolk high school
I'm
coach.
just an engineer during the day.
Oh, my
This is
God.
this is fun. Honestly, I joke and say if I could get a full-time job coaching every sport I do, it's
Yeah.
fun to give back like that. But I love it. And like I said, swimming's my thing. Wrestling's now my thing. But
You can only have one thing. You have co-things.
I'm gonna have multiple things.
Co-things.
But
Multiple
yeah,
things.
people joke. I mean, I don't know where we find time. You know, Nicole's
Sure.
saving the world with everything she's
That's
doing.
right.
We're always
You're
moving.
saving your world, a smaller world. She's got the
She's
whole,
got
the whole city. She's got a thing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's right. Well, Coach, congratulations. I wanted to make a debut today. Coach Nappy, not only helping out the wrestling program, but now going to be the boys swim team coach. He'll be paired up with Coach Vaca, who we know before. So I appreciate that. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for letting us
thank
come
you.
out here. I'll take that from you.
Yeah.
Here. Guys, I want to thank you for letting us come out here again. Michael, thank you so much for
No
helping
problem.
us out today. I hope you know, Michael, next year we're going to make you do every single wrestling interview.
Oh,
And this
I'm
time you're
ready
gonna do
for it.
Yeah, you got to come down because this last year, Michael, I actually got to do announcing their only home meet I got to see was a senior night. I had the best time.
Oh yeah, it's an exciting sport.
I didn't know anything at all. The kids were so helpful and nice to me. I'm thinking, man, we should have someone that we got to do a show live during the meet. That would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
You could like do the technical play-by-play, and I'll just call out number 22, 120 pounds, you know, that kind of thing. So, well, I appreciate you coming on today. Guys, again, we're coming to you live from Woodland Middle School. Next week, we're trying to get to see some Little League baseball as well as Norfolk Youth basketball, and we're pretty much coming to an end after that. Season's already almost done, but we still got 2 events. Don't forget, we've got our May 14th free physicals, and then Friday, May 16th, the last home thing at all at Norfolk High School. We're going to have the blue and silver football scrimmage. They will go the next week over to Island Coast for their official spring football. But in terms of Norfolk High School events, the 16th is it. We are tapping Sean Kirkpatrick out of all announcing. He is done for the year. So we really want to see you come out one last time. We would love to say hi to some of your parents before we say goodbye for the summertime. On behalf of everyone here, I want to thank Michael Rongs all the way from Ohio helping us out today. John Rongs, your son did a great job today. Take care, everybody. Good night.
You can cut it.